Hey Book Talk and BookTube friends and family, it's Wednesday, it's Indie Insights Day, and I'm talking to the indie authors out there today. Have you ever wondered why some readers DNF your books? It's an awful feeling, and it's awful for us too as readers to come across things that are icky and make us not want to finish your book. So here are some of the things that I've found that have caused me to DNF, and I suspect other readers as well. So check your books, the new ones, and just see if any of these things might be true. So I had a indie author approach me a couple of months ago, asked me to review a book for them, and I couldn't finish it. I went back to the author and apologized and just explained the reasons why. Got ghosted afterwards, but you get that. So the problem, there were quite a lot of problems with this book. The first one, and this is one that it's kind of a non-negotiable these days, was that the formatting, the grammar, the spelling mistakes were huge. Like, it was every page there were mistakes. Even a free version of Grammarly is going to cut out most of those. So there was just so much of it. And as TJ Lloyd said when I interviewed her a couple of weeks ago, she said that once you start seeing errors, you then lose the idea of reading the book and you just spend the rest of the time looking for errors until you DNF. And one of the reasons that I did. The other thing was that it was some books are great when they have lots of different times and places in the book, and this works really well when there's flashbacks or there's multiple scenes going on at the same time. But to make that work, you need to get your signposting right. So you need to make it very clear when and where the reader is in the story. If we've moved 50 years ago, it needs to be very clear before we read any more, that's where we are. Otherwise, the reader is going back and forth trying to figure out where they are, and in the end, give up as well. This was also very, very prominent in this book. There were a lot of great concepts in there. The problem was that it was all over the place and it wasn't guided well. So I got lost in the story and I didn't know where I was, and it just made it harder. Then there's character development and backstories. Now, I love a good backstory. I love origin stories, but if you've got minor characters and you give them major backstories, that's just padding for me. I feel like that's not helping move the story along. And I read one book, there were 6 minor characters with 6 huge backstories that were never relevant to the story. And I got to the end just thinking, why were these even in here? Because they didn't make any improvement to the story at all. So I didn't DNF that one. I should have, because I got bogged down in these backstories that went nowhere. The other thing that I get disappointed with is if the story doesn't make any sense. Like this one that I've been talking about, it started off really great. There was a lot of really good potential there, and then it just went off the rails in a point that it didn't make sense to me, and characters were being referred to and introduced, and then they disappeared and they never came back. And then other characters were mentioned, and all of a sudden they were there in the scene. And it was really all over the place. And so it wasn't well organized. So organization is important. Really plot out where every character is at every time, where they need to be in the story, park the ones that don't need to be in this scene, and that way you'll have more success with your readers reading your book to the end. So they're my takeaways. Formatting and editing, please. Just get the free version of Grammarly and that'll sort most of that out for you. If you can, hire an editor or a proofreader to really go through and fix any of those up, because that will make all the difference. It shows the readers that you really care so much about your books. Then signposting, make it very clear. Where are we in the story? You know, it's in here and you've got it all figured out, but think of us, we don't know where it's up to in here. So make it really clear for us, and that's really great. Characters, do they belong? Do they need a backstory? Are they just coming in and out? Make sure that it's very clear who your majors are and who your minors are. So there you go. They're my insights for this week. I don't DNF books a lot. I try to stay committed and read them to the end, but help a guy out, clear those things up, and I'll love the books much better and much faster. All right, thanks for checking in. See you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.